I appreciate everybody coming out today. Just can't believe it's 4 days away from starting this season. A lot of things have happened to us all season wise. It's went really good and progressing every time I've been able to talk to people. Just our off season went really great. Spring training was good. Summer workouts. Fall camp has been really one of our better ones, if not the best one. I feel like we got a very conditioned football team that's healthy right now, and hopefully we'll stay that way. And I said I like this group. They're blue collar, they're fun to go to work with every day, and they enjoy being around one another, and makes our job as coaches really a whole lot easier. I like the chemistry of this team and what they're all about. So I think it's going to make for a fun year. This opener is a challenge. We always have a challenging non-conference schedule, and a little rivalry with Chattanooga. It's going to be a great game. They got a great program up there, and Coach Arthur I know will continue that. So they're gonna have a good football team. So we got to be ready to play, and I think we've done everything in our power right now to make the Gamecocks as good as we can be right now. And you turned your focus last week to them and trying to prepare for them. So it's kind of a unusual opener. You got an opening game, and you never know the identity of a football team can kind of change from year to year, even with the continuity of a staff. But you felt like you knew them really good with Coach Huseman there, and with his departure and Coach Arthur coming in, you kind of don't know what they're going to do. So you're dealing with the unexpected there. So you're kind of preparing for a lot of different things. So you look back at things that people have had success against us and try to work as much of that stuff and work where his coordinators have been and different things. But end of the day, I think this is every team in the country. It don't really boil down to what your opponent does, and I think our guys are very bought into that. It matters how we play and how we perform. So I think we're going to do our best, job of perfecting the Gamecocks, on Saturday and kind of seeing where we are. It's kind of exciting in first games. Kind of you think you know where you are. I think I always say it every year, but you don't really know until you get to go against somebody else. And so this bunch is excited, I think, about getting to play as every team in the country play somebody else. You get to pass that second week in camp, and they're ready to bang on somebody else and play a different color jersey. So I think this bunch is ready to do that. But like I said, it's been a really good fall camp, and looking forward to kicking the season off. I think this is a great venue, for our university as a whole, and Chattanooga as well. And I think it's a good thing for our program. Just a nationally televised game, in prime time, only game on at that time, and to be on ESPN and be a national televised game, I think is a great stage for our players to play on. I think they're looking forward to that. It's a great day for our alumni, and like I said, I think a lot of people across the country may not know about Jacksonville State to get to learn about Jacksonville State. So anytime we can, we got a great university. Anytime we can expose the country to that, we look forward to doing that. And our job is to, make us look good in how we play. So hopefully we'll be ready to do that. We got a little more, hay to get in the barn before then. We got a few more practices to, brush up on stuff and get ready. So, we'll be doing that. But I'll give you an update. Last week we got a pleasant surprise. If a year ago sitting here talking about, I was asking for prayers, for Keegan Hill, and it's been a rough deal, all season with him last year. But he got to speak to our team last year. So miracles do happen. God just answers prayers, and he's doing really well. And to hear him be able to speak to our team and give thanks, and was a great thing for our team. So for them to be able to see that, and what a blessing for him to be, and what a testimony he's got. Just being able to recover from that thing. So talking about a guy that we didn't think was going to get to come home out of the hospital. So for him to be able to do that, what a fantastic day. So like I said, it was just a good thing for him and our team, for him to come over and watch practice and be around us. And he'll be back more. So as a little update on him. Open it up for questions.
When did he speak?
Oh, God, last probably Wednesday, Joel. I think it was last Wednesday. So, he came back in the spring, kind of a spring game, and kind of was around a little bit. It's amazing to see the progression of where he is now from the rehab from then until now, and the progression he's made. So he even attributed it and gave, they sparked that seeing the team that day and everybody running down to see him. Kind of sparked some memory, because up to that point, you take a guy that, really wakes up in January and It's 2017. He's 19 instead of 18. He had no memory of what had happened to him, the time he missed, and things like that. So it's just such a miracle for him to be able to do that. She said, but when he seen the faces, after he had run up, it was kind of triggered. Oh yeah, it kind of brought back the memories, and that's kind of where that started. So he was able to thank our guys for that, and just all the prayers and everything. But he's made a lot of progression, I think, in the last 4 or 5 months, back working out a little bit and doing some things. So, what a blessing.
Joel, I'll ask you, what did you take from Keegan's appearance here?
From Keegan's, I just love seeing Keegan. He's just a person that brings the love and joy back to football. He has no mindset of the grind or what's going on or how hard it is. And seeing him again just gave me joy in life, because in the blink of an eye, the game can be taken away from you, whether it's on your terms or somebody else's terms. And his joy and his smile that he came in with, that he has a spirit that nothing's going to break him. And I feel like that can be the identity of our football team. And I want to take that from him and apply it to our guys. So I feel like everyone felt that. But him coming back, showing me that, and just showing that to the team, it just blessed my heart.
John, you said this is a rivalry, and how does it compare? And I'll ask you this too, Joel, but how does it compare kind of to the conference rivalries in terms of the intensity of it?
Well, I mean, I think that's been over the years. I would think that's been one of the struggles is, you had the old Gulf South rivalries with Troy and UNA and, West Alabama, West Georgia, things like that, and you kind of lost some of those, I think through the conference OVC, we built some rivalries over the years, with those schools, and I think every time we play one of those, it's it gets better and better every year. I think everybody's fan support gets better. I think it's turning into some rivalries. So it's taking it takes time to build rivalries. And I think being in OVC is, as long as we have now, there are some constant rivalries there. And like I said, anytime that I think that you can do that with a neighbor, like Chattanooga, we're an hour and 45 minutes, away from one another, so our fan bases kind of intermingle a lot of times around that Huntsville market and different places. So that kind of creates that rivalry. So I think it's been a good rivalry. It's a healthy rivalry. It's been a great ball game every time we play. It comes down to almost the last drive, and sometimes that drives in overtime. So you got two really good football teams, and I always say this, I love to play, non-conference games are like playoff games. And this is definitely, one of those games is like a playoff game. This will be like a second round, third round, playoff type atmosphere. And that's great, a great way to open the season up, and open up with a formidable opponent who's really good. And, it's going to come, the game's going to be a full quarter game. It's going to come down to the wire. So, but I think both fan bases, kind of look forward to this game. I think they've gotten into it, and it was kind of a disappointment, I think, last year not getting to really play them. I think everybody was like, man, where's that Chattanooga game at? So I think it's good to get back on the table this year and get to play it.
So what's it like to play in those games against them?
Against Chattanooga, man, everyone loves a good fight, a good opponent that when they show up and they get off the bus, I need to pull my chin strap just a strap tighter, because they're coming with it every single time. You have certain teams and certain people, they might not. But when Chattanooga shows up, it's going to be a fight. And you love that feeling just knowing we finna go to war, and it's going to be serious.
The coaching,
Go ahead.
the coaching change doesn't take anything away from it.
I don't think so, not at all. I think the rivalry goes a lot deeper than even a player's perspective or a coach's perspective. I think it goes into your fan support, your alumni, and I think that's where a rivalry comes from. So I think that intermingled of our fans and the talk of the hype of the game, I think, is where that comes from. So I think, number one, from a fan's perspective, what more could you ask for? I mean, every time we played, it's been a great ball game, So, I mean, you're going to get your money's worth, you know that. And, we know from a coach's player's perspective, we got a lot of respect for them and how we prepare for them. And like Joel said, you got to tighten that chin strap up. It's going to be a hard-hitting physical game. So I do not think the coaching change, takes away from that. We got several players on our team that have played them multiple times, and they do as well. So, I mean, I think, like I said, it's going to be a great game.
Joel, what are some of your thoughts on getting a chance to play on ESPN and also kind of having a chance to essentially have the state to yourselves on this day? A lot of people are going to get a chance to see you who might not otherwise.
It's not so much personal, but I feel like for the team and for the school, it'll be great most of the times when you bring up the name Jacksonville, people always say, "Oh, you from Florida?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not from Florida. I'm from Alabama, Jacksonville, Alabama." So I feel like having ESPN ourselves as a school and university and a team, as a program, it'll be great for us. So now people say, "Oh, that's the Jacksonville they were talking about." So you want to put something on TV where people can remember you in a good way.
Coach Gross, what does it mean for your program and a chance to, like Joel's saying, generate some positive attention to have this game?
Well, I mean, I think anytime that you can be on the national market, as far as putting your product out there and talking about your school and talking about your program, it's definitely, advertisement, for our university. So I think it's great in that way, and I think our guys look forward to it. And, we've been able to play on the SEC network. It's nationally televised. Big Ten network's nationally televised. We've played, multiple, I think playoff games have been at nationally televised, syndication. So I think it's huge just to market and brand, where, like Joel was saying, where you're from, So I think we've been able to do that, and I think our program as a whole has been able to actually, get us on the map, with some of that stuff. And people do know we're from Alabama, and, they do know where we're at. But the more times that you're able to do that, I mean, I think the better for your program. So you think about, national programs that are on TV all the time. You remember back in the day when Notre Dame was on TV every weekend. I mean, it's just branding. The more times that you get national exposure, it's great for your school. So we're excited about that opportunity. And like I said, I think it's a great stage for. It was a no-brainer to move the game. You missing a home game. But to be able to be on that national market is, more than worth moving the game to Montgomery. And I think it's going to be a great stage, and a great stadium for us to play in. Montgomery's been, they're going to do a great job of hosting that game. And like I said, just be able to be on that syndication nationally. I mean, you can't put a price tag on it, really.
Does a game like this help with recruiting?
Well, it does, definitely. It goes back to that branding. I think when, guys that are being recruited know you're going to play it on national television, multiple times during the year. I mean, I think it's a good thing, and I think awareness of where we are. I think, like I said, this year's freshman class, I think is the best class we've signed. You can't tell me that, over the past 2 years, the nationally televised games that we've been able to play in didn't help, with that branding and being able to draw awareness to our program. So I definitely think it does help.
How's Bryant looking heading into his first start at quarterback?
Doing really good. I mean, he's not going to show a lot of emotion. He's cool, calm, and collected, and I don't think many things bother him. So he's the same guy. You can ask Joel this. He's the same guy every day. Yep. What you see is what you get, and I don't think any stage bothers him as far as being, nervous or being able to handle the situation. So, I feel good about that. And like I said, I think all our quarterbacks have done really good, and they'll all be ready to play,
Now, personally, I'm really disappointed in Bryant Horn. He hasn't thrown me a pick or interception all camp, and we've been in camp for a month or so, so I'm really mad at him. I've been talking to him about it, and he says it's a no-go. He won't do it for me, but I'm going to try to get one out of him.
Just on watching tape of them last year, I'm guessing you saw Tay Davis's development a little bit. Just how's he looking heading in his senior year?
I think doing well. It's good to see him do well, and like I said, I think they got a lot of new faces on their team too. They took signing class and things like that. So they got a good nucleus of a team coming back.
Plans for the Eclipse, I guess, in a couple minutes, besides trying to wrap up your press conference?
Well, I don't guess my polarized sunglasses are going to work for that, but we're going to go out and see it. I know some teams probably won't care about it, but it's not going to happen in our lifetime again. So we're going to take advantage of it and try to get as many guys out and see it. But like I said, don't have enough glasses, so just don't stare at the sun too long. So come on in and sit down, guys. I'm going to bite you.
Coach Gross, should we ask Bryant about that terrible thing you just said about him before he came in?
Joel's mad at you, Bryant, 'cause he hadn't thrown him an interception all camp, so he's mad at you.
It's a problem to the defense going on. We had a meeting about it. We got to get something out of it.
Just doing my job.
What's it like for you guys? I mean, he played defense his first 2 years, to see him on offense now. What's it
They
like?
were sitting in a position meeting with Joel.
For me, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, it's wholehearted respect. I've seen this guy run down on kickoff full speed and make tackles at the 10-yard line. The 10-yard line, and he turns around, you come back, and you can pull something that you've been learned your whole life or taught playing quarterback, and you still have the fundamentals. You still have the mechanics, and you take that hard-nosed, downhill fight to the other side of the ball. It makes our life hard. It makes your life hard when you can look across that line, look another man in the eyes, and he can look back at you with them same eyes that you have, and it's like, oh, it's a man over there now. Okay now. But it's respect, though, wholeheartedly.
Brian, just how does it feel going into your first start at quarterback?
I mean, it's exciting. I'm ready to play. It's a new experience, but it's just another game. I mean, it's different. Situation. Obviously last year was backup. A little less pressure, but I'm not going to let it get to me after the first snap. It's just like playing out here against the defense. It's just time to go and time to make plays.
Dad said anything to you advice-wise, or does he need to?
No, I don't think he has much to say to me. He just says just do the best you can, and the rest will take care of itself. But I'm sure once the game gets closer, he'll start pitching in a little more and more.
Bryant's not much of a talker. I think his dad probably gets, I think he told one of our coaches this on Saturday, he gets what I get out of my kids. Well, how was your day at school? Good. Yeah, how was practice? It's good. Yeah, I think that's what he gets. Isn't that right, Bryant? That's probably, you don't elaborate too much, do you?
He'll ask me the same questions every day, and I give him the same answers every day. It's not much to it. But that's just kind of how we are.
This came up before you guys came in here, but Keegan Hill coming and talking to the team, what were your thoughts on that when it happened?
Oh, it's just great to see him. He went through a lot. He kind of inspiration to us to never, just go one day at a time. You can't be looking forward because you never know what will happen. And that's kind of what he's went through, and he's living proof of, what God can do in miracles. And it's good to see him back. We're glad to have him, and hope the best for him.
Hopefully he get to come to some of our games. See him on the sideline, it would be great for us. He's a wonderful kid, and he's a living blessing. And he told us never take a day for granted. Always live out to your full potential.